Pro Bowl wide receiver Demaryius Thomas passed at the age of 33. Roswell, Georgia police said Thursday night Thomas was found dead in his home, and preliminary reports, according to police, were Thomas's death may have resulted from a medical issue. Demaryius Thomas had officially announced his retirement from the NFL this past June. Harry, you knew Demaryius.
Yeah, man. He one of the most genuine human beings you can ever be around. A guy who was selfless. We share the same agent, Todd France. He's from Georgia, went to Georgia Tech. We're close with a lot of the same people. So this news, if I have bags under my eyes are red right now, it's probably because I slept 1 hour last night. Because I just couldn't sleep because my phone kept ringing. Hey, man, did you hear the news? And first I didn't want to believe it, but I want to send my condolences to his family, everyone who's close to him, because he's just 33 years old, man.
What kind of a guy was he?
A great one. Great teammate, a great friend, a person that everybody wanted to be around. I remember when I played the Broncos, right? And me and Talib had got in a little scuffle, right? And after the game, I got Bebe's jersey, and he was like, "Man, everybody mad at me because you got in a scuffle with Talib, and they didn't want me to give my jersey to you." He was like, "Man, I ain't got time for all that nonsense." Gave me the jersey, signed the jersey. That's just the kind of guy he was, man.
Great
cool
receiver
guy.
too, Jay.
Yes.
For like, how many Pro Bowls did he make? But it wasn't like one or two. He basically was a perennial Pro Bowler in his prime. He would make the Pro Bowl every year, and he had size. He could Demaryius Thomas was a guy where if you're looking at what you have on your team, if you have Demaryius Thomas, it's not just he happens to be your number one. It's like, oh, number one wideout, check, we're good.
A trustworthy guy, a guy that did the right thing, a guy that would stand up for what he believed in and what was right. But it's just crazy, man, because you think about being 33 years old. You haven't even lived life really.
Even started to.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just sad news. And Todd France was our football agent, so I know him and his camp is going through it right now.
You know, Max, these are the things that happen. I mean, they happen on a day-to-day basis, right? I mean, every single day people are losing people that they love. But over the past year and a half, 2 years, from the pandemic to stories like this, just serve as constant reminders that when I leave work or when I wake up in the morning, I see my daughter or I see my son or I see my wife or I talk to my mother who's going through a big surgery coming up this Monday, like just to tell them how much I love them and how much I care about them. Because it's, man, those things so fast, 33 years old, right? Like not even have a chance to start your life yet and understand who the hell I'm 40. I'm still learning about who I am.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It happens so fast.
And I tell you, Jay, the pandemic put a lot of things into perspective, not just for us, but for people around the world.
Yes.
What truly matters, and tell your loved ones how much they mean to you. For every flight I get on, you know what I do? I text my parents, everybody I love in my family, and I make sure if something does happen, my wife has a text message to show my kids how much their daddy really, really loves them.
You know, Jay mentioned it during the commercial break. Every time you, like airline travel safer than car travel, right? Every time you get in a car, the point is you are not promised tomorrow. So like, not to get too maudlin, but because the Jimmy V stuff is going on, and you see a lot of Stu Scott's speech, which is a brilliant speech, and you beat cancer in this case, it's not, cancer, but by the way you live, right? Like, that's because the clock is ticking on everyone. You just don't know when your number's up. So how are you living? And it sounds like, I did not know Demaryius Thomas, but from what you're describing, that he lived his life the way you are supposed to, in terms of the way he treated other people and carried himself. Jay, I bring up his athletic accomplishments because you're right, obviously. That's just a small part of it.
It wasn't to take
No,
away
I
from
understand,
that.
but I want to be very clear. It's also important, I think, to let people know what someone accomplished. This dude was not, first of all, anyone who makes the NFL or the NBA is an athlete beyond what the normal person can imagine. But a dude on that level, he was a great player. He wasn't a great player for 20 years, but he was a great player on a real good team. And so if you, Evan, our producer, mentioned it before the show started, if you followed football in the last 10 years, You know Demaryius Thomas.
Well, I was only saying that, Max, and I hear exactly what you're saying. I'm going to be really real with you right now because this is something that happened to me. I always dreamt of being an NBA player as I got a little bit older into basketball. And I've met a lot of great athletes, right? Now, there's still a value of life. Life is life. But there are a lot of athletes I met that were great athletes that weren't good people, right? So for me, when I hear that, I naturally go back to that place. I'm like, all right, great accomplishments, but Harry, who was he as a person? Like, I need to know the character of that because that matters to me in the realm that we live in.
No
on a
doubt. By the way,
day-to-day basis.
anytime you discuss a group of people, any kind of group of people, you will find good people
And
bad
bad
people,
people,
and
yes.
this and that. And Demaryius Thomas, Harry Douglas, same agent, played against him. The whole thing
Was a good man.
Was a good man.
First round draft pick coming from Georgia Tech when they was a predominantly running football team.
Wow.
So think about that now.
Yeah.
That lets you know the talent level, but he was a better man off the field than he was on.